All right, everybody, welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing. I am one of the hosts, Chris Mack, and I'm here with my guest host, Elizabeth Izzo. Say hello to the
Hi.
people.
Hi. I am like so excited. I'm like so excited.
Yes, you are seeing a different face. Yes, you are seeing a different Elizabeth. The original, my co-host, is off handling some family business right now, and she's taking care of people. So I brought in another Elizabeth who's like not better, but like we're gonna see if she's better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say she's better. You know what I mean? Because my partner will kill me. But
Listen, I'm not better. I'm not better. I know that I have big shoes to fill. Like I'm just different.
Listen, the fact that you're a fan of Sex in the City, which we are covering in our show right now, because I've never seen it. And so Elizabeth has, and the whole point of our show is that like we try to show each other things that we haven't seen before. And our first subject is Sex in the City. So we've been watching all the episodes, and I've been like kind of catching up because I'm like way behind. This is my first time ever viewing any of these episodes. So,
which is crazy, but also like mad respect that you didn't, hop on that train that everyone else hopped on. So,
well, I have my opinions on the show, so I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it. I feel like it's shaped an entire generation, and I'm glad I didn't get shaped from that.
yes, it has, but like as I was saying before, like because I watched it, kind of originally when it was like out, right, and then rewatching it, I have a totally different opinion, and I think it's also too like I'm older and like where I'm at in my life, so even rewatching it now, I'm like I've just got some very specific opinions, I think.
So before we get into the show, tell us a little bit about you, Elizabeth. Tell us just a little short bio.
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for that.
Come on, let the people know who you are. They may want to come find you, want to collab. You never know.
Oh my God,
thousands of views, literally thousands of views. You might never know.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my God. Okay, well, my name is Liz Izzo. I was just saying my my nickname in high school was Lizzo, not that matters. But I moved to LA like 12 years ago at this point, almost going on 13. It'll be like 13 in July.
Okay.
I'm an East Coast girl, grew up on the East Coast, moved to New York when I was right out of college. So like I kind of did live that like Sex in the City life, kind of. Like me and my girlfriends were like those single girls, like going out, having cocktails, like meeting the men, but like none of the men were as upstanding, I would say, as these guys. Well, yeah.
There's been a few that aren't, I wouldn't say
but I mean, like, listen, when I was in New York, like this is like a tangent, but like it was, and I don't know if it was like the time or just whatever, but like right out of college, like, you got like admin jobs, right? And like most of the guys were older guys. And I think like admin kind of like equated like, I don't know, like easy girl. I don't know. It was weird because like you get all these like guys with girlfriends or married guys and they'd like want to take you out and then it would take a left turn somewhere. Anyways, I don't know why I'm saying this, but edit that out, please.
Nope, that's in there. That's in there.
Oh my God. Anyway,
listen, I said give the people a short bio. This is the bio you put out there.
I'm sorry. Long story long. I out in New York like 7 years after I moved there. And then so I've been here about 13 years in July. And originally I moved here like everybody else with that dream in my heart, to be an actress. And that's really what I wanted to do. And then like through the course of the years, I sort of just got into writing and creating my own content and producing. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm actually pretty excited because my first feature we're going to start pre-production, I think in August. So that's super exciting.
And what's
done a lot of short films.
Cool. What's the name of the feature going to be? If you can say it, I don't want to, if you can't say it, don't say it.
I can say the working title. The working title was called, it's going to be a psychological thriller, hopefully, if we do it right.
Okay.
The working title was called In the Name of Their Father, but now it's completely changed. And we're still figuring it out.
Well, we will update our fans on it whenever it does come out. So let us know so we can let them know. So when they do watch this episode, they're like, "Hey, we love Lizzo." Bring back Lizzo. Like, oh, you got to see her work.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So this episode of Show Me What I've Been Missing, we are covering season 4, episode 11, Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda. A lot of things happened in this episode. Very heavy-handed episode.
Yes.
Also, a lot of what we are talking about presently is happening in this episode. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So an easy episode for me to dive into. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. But very heavy-handed. Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's crazy that, like, I mean, and me and me and other Elizabeth have Elizabeth number 1. We'll just say that for now. Elizabeth 1. We've had discussions like this. It's crazy how this show is early or late 90s, early 2000s, and we're still talking about some of the subjects that they cover in this show today within our government and society and like social things. So it's kind of crazy how the show still kind of holds up in some ways. Not all the ways, but some ways. There's definitely some problematic episodes where you're like, ooh, they wrote that joke.
Yeah.
So now, since you're our first guest, our fans know that we don't go in order. We're not going from like start to the end. Like we gotta go. We jump around. So there's 4 different stories going on here, and since you're the guest, who do you want to talk about first?
Okay, honestly.
Okay.
I think the storyline that I like sympathized with in a weird way was Charlotte trying to have a baby.
Okay.
I don't know why, and again, maybe it is a little bit of my age playing into it. But like, I think in my 20s, like, I remember watching this episode in my 20s and thinking like, Charlotte, like it's not that big of a deal. Like I didn't get the weight. I didn't get the gravity of like the absolute like pain that Charlotte must be going through in this moment when she like finds out she has a 15% chance of getting pregnant.
Jumping ahead.
Like, ever. I know, sorry.
You're fine. So, let's get into it. So Charlotte is in the midst of trying to conceive. Like, her and Trey have been in the last few episodes have been trying to have a baby. He's gotten his fertility checked. She's gotten hers checked. And as far as she knows, in this moment, she thinks everything is okay. Yeah. And she gets some news from one of the other ladies, which we'll get into later, that kind of has her just all over the place, because at one end, she's trying to be supportive of her friend who's having a situation, but she's also kind of upset with her friend because of her situation.
Yeah.
And okay, now let me ask you this. Do you think throughout this episode, do you think Charlotte was being a little selfish, or was that justified?
No. Okay. And let me tell you why. When in my 20s, I did think she was being selfish. When I watched it when I was in my 20s, I was like, why can't you just be there for your friend? Put your drama aside and just like be there for your friend, right? This is not about you right now.
Right.
But now looking back on it, and again, it could be where I'm at in my life, when you're going through something so, like, when you want something so badly in your life and you just can't seem to get it, and then you have somebody in your life that you absolutely love, but they get it and they're not appreciative of it, it does something to you. Like, especially as a woman, like, I don't know, it just like changes you. It does something to you. And like, I don't really know if I could look my best. Like, I think I would need some time. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
absolutely.
So I don't think she's being selfish. I think she's just so in her own pain,
right?
That she can't, like, okay, like, I'll use myself as an example.
Sure.
Every single person in my life, like literally every person in my life now, is married, kids, whatever. And I'm like, I can't go to another friggin' wedding. Like, I can't. Like, no, but like, really, I'm like, because I'm always that single friggin' friend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's like, and it's more than just this sucks. It's like on a whole other psychological level. But yet I have to be supportive for my friends, which I am. But it's like, yet I just can't seem to find a good relationship, right? So like,
and I want to, before, not to break up what you're saying, but I want to applaud you for being a woman in 2022 and admitting that you don't want to be single, because like, you know, like right now the theme of the world is like boss bitches taking over the world, don't need no man, I can do it all by myself, I'm independent. But like is that, does that lead to happiness? You know what I mean?
No, I'm a product of like, listen, and I think also why I like the show so much is because they all are independent women, but like
Sure.
but with that being said, they're independent women. They're still looking for love, right? They're still looking for love. And like for me, like, yeah, I'm an independent woman. Like I can accomplish anything I want. But I'm at that point in my life where like I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
I've done like it is an uphill battle when you're doing things alone. Like, you know, yes, relationships are not perfect, but
Sure.
like at some point you want a partnership. And like for me, I've been single my whole life. Like I've never had like a partner. So now I'm looking at that in a different way.
Hell yeah.
So all that saying, yeah, I get where Charlotte's coming from,
Yeah.
how she's just like, you know, look at what you have. You're not even appreciating what you have, and I don't even have the opportunity to have that, you know. And
Absolutely.
it's like a gut punch. Like it is a gut. It's a gut punch, and you know that scene. I don't know if you want to, where her and Miranda are having on the street, and they're
Yes,
having that
let's talk about it. Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
Absolutely.
I think again, when I was in my 20s watching it, I was like, why is Charlotte being such a bitch to Miranda? Like Miranda's trying to be nice to her. And why is
Yes.
Charlotte just being such an absolute nasty bitch that she's like, I don't want to look at you right now. Now I watch it and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to look at her either. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to, I'd be like, you know what? Like, it's not about, at this point, I think it's not about Miranda. It's all about Charlotte, right? She's
Right.
dealing with like, and she's just now found out you have the thing that I want and I probably won't be able to get. And like, it's just so guttural and visceral for me. And like, if I was Charlotte in that moment, I would I wouldn't want to see her either. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I can't, because it's the pain that you're going through is not about the other person. It becomes about you. So I get it. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard, like, because I was kind of judging her for a second too, but then I also realized, like, when you know what, let's just say it. Miranda's pregnant and Charlotte can't get pregnant, so that's why her, because it doesn't make. I mean, for anybody who is watching the show, y'all should have watched the episode. I don't know why you didn't, so you should already know who we're talking about. But for those who didn't, spoiler alert: in this episode, Miranda's pregnant. Sorry. So we're just gonna get into it because it just like trying to skirt around it just doesn't make any sense anymore,
Yeah,
especially
I'm
when
sorry.
we're
I
talking.
know.
No, no,
Sorry,
no, no,
like let the cat out of
no,
the
no, no,
bag.
no, 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 no. You know, honestly, I always forget that like people should be watching the episode before they watch our episode, but you know, sometimes people just like find our episodes randomly, you know, in the algorithm and start watching, and they're like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Well, spoiler, here it is. No, I totally get, you know, Charlotte now, because like, man, dude, I mean, I'll go as far as petty. Like sometimes I've had friends that just like gotten roles that I wanted, and like they didn't even really care about getting it. And I'm just like, how? What are you?
Right.
What?
Right.
Like this is like,
Right.
so. I mean, I can imagine like, you know, if you want a baby and then your friend is pregnant and like she's talking about aborting the baby, like that has to seem, I mean, because like, and that puts her in a rock and a hard place. It's like, yes, I want to be a friend, but also fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
you want to get
Yeah.
rid of the thing that I want the most? Like how, like why would
Right.
you? But
Right.
to be fair, she didn't even want to talk to Charlotte about this. Like when they
Yeah.
were at brunch and the whole thing got brought up,
I
Miranda was at
know.
least decent enough to be like, I don't want to talk about this.
No, I know. But then Carrie was just like, it's like, Carrie, keep your eyeballs back in your head and like,
Oh, she said the worst poker face. Is this whole
oh,
episode
the worst,
terrible.
like the worst. Yeah, and like it was like, I don't want to tell anyone, and then Carrie just tells everybody.
Everybody. Ah, the worst.
Everybody.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny too because Carrie, you know, well, we'll get into it later, but she like, you know, gets mad at Aiden for even like just the idea that he might have said something. It's like, bitch, you done told everybody this fucking episode. What are you talking about? You're the one spreading
Yeah.
fucking shit like rumors. What are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, Charlotte finds a way to be a friend to Miranda after a certain decision is made. But let me ask you this. Do you think that is still like legitimate, her being like friend thing? Because like it seems the only reason why they became friends at the end, or like, kind of made up at the end, was because Miranda decided what she decided. Do you think
well, how do I say it? So Charlotte comes to comfort Miranda.
Yes. Post what she thought was abortion.
Yeah, she doesn't know one way or the other she thinks she knows what's going on, right?
Right.
So she comes to comfort Miranda,
right,
and bring her like weird flowers or something.
It was like white. I think it's like something like a white, like a white daffodils or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it means something. She was like, into that.
Yeah, she's like, whatever you do in these. But so I think that's her extending the olive branch and being like, I'm gonna support you. Like, this isn't, I think she's taken it in where she's like, this isn't about me now. I'm gonna be your friend and I'm gonna support you. So this is about you.
Yeah.
So I think she is, being a friend and in the way that she can, right?
Okay.
Like this is
Respect.
in the way that she can, but oh God, it's just, it's hard. Like I mean, listen, like they are really good friends. They are close friends. And so obviously they're going to find a way to figure it out. Right. But like, it's like such a hard situation. I'm like, and I'm watching it and I'm thinking like, oh God, I get how hard that is now. But I just get like, it's just such a, it's such a hard place.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, because it's like, you're trying to be a friend, but you're also holding back jealousy and like hurt, and it's like, oh man, yeah. So she was, honestly, the fact that she even showed up to the apartment with flowers is kind of a big step, to be honest. Because like if we were to go back, if this was like Charlotte's season 1 or season 2, her and Miranda would have never been friends again. Like there's no way that Charlotte would have been able to handle this situation. Like it's through her growth, and especially too, we're talking about like before she got married, because ain't no way. She's like, if she wanted to have a baby and wasn't married, she would probably would have murdered Miranda herself.
She would yeah, she'd run in front of a truck, like for sure. For sure. And it's weird, because like when I was like in college, people were always like, oh, you're a Charlotte. And I was like, I don't see myself as Charlotte. Like I'm not like stuck up. I'm not Upper East Side. Like I'm not, like I'm not conservative. But now the older I get, I'm like, shit, like I'm like, maybe I am like a Charlotte in the ways of like, she was like doing all this shit to manifest getting married and having a baby. And now I'm like, give me all the manifestation shit. Like give it to me. I get it now. Like I get it now. Like shit, I get it.
Listen, when I first got to LA, when people talk about vision boards and manifesting, I was like, y'all got some bullshit. But then like, I got a fucking board right here in my, like, that I have right in front of my front door. Like shit has been coming to me since I've been writing shit on it. So like, let's go.
Well, give me your board, man, because like I have shit written all over. I write out. Where is my? It's like, am I just not believing enough? Like I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
You just gotta, I guess you just gotta have the faith, man. Just like this positive, like it's gonna happen faith. Also, I got crystals all over. Like I got fucking, yeah, you know.
I do too. Okay, so these, I don't know. This is like my love. It's the rose quartz, so it's for love. This protects against bad spirits.
Oh yeah, this is how we also connected at the party. We were talking about our race.
Yeah.
So moving along, I guess at this point we kind of, because I feel like the rest of the story is kind of all blending together.
Circles around that, yeah.
So let's talk about.
Wait, can I just?
Oh
yeah, go ahead. So I'm gonna bring up Samantha. Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
Okay, yes, so we'll talk about Samantha's story. So Samantha, in all this, first of all, kudos to her. Me and my podcast partner, we always say we agree that she's the best friend, because throughout all this, she's not judging anybody. She's supporting Miranda. She's supporting Charlotte, and she's like, not judging anyone. She's not making anybody feel bad about whatever decisions they make. She's like, look,
right.
Life. We've all been there. Let's, So first of all, kudos to her. But basically, her storyline kind of really doesn't fit into the rest of them. She has a new client, right? Lucy Liu.
Yeah.
I guess she's gonna do some PR for Lucy Liu. And after a good brunch, her and Lucy Liu hit it off. And Samantha is, for some reason in this episode, obsessed with Birkin bags.
I think this is also the time going back when like the Birkin bag was like the it bag. Like it was like the thing to have. Everyone was obsessed with it. It was like on Oprah's like hit list for that year. It was like on her Christmas list and like giving away. Like it was the thing to have. First of all, I think that bag is ugly as shit. Like I have always thought it was just the ugliest bag. I don't understand why everyone was like so obsessed with it. I don't know if it's like
it's a status thing, man. Imagine, think about it. It's what if you can put a bag on the table and say you paid. Well, it means at this time, from what they said, it was like $4,000. Yeah, it's more than that now. I understand. I think it's like
I'm sure
or something like that, or something like that.
Did you say 50?
I think so. I think they're up there.
50?
Yeah. I think so.
50? No, that's so. 50 grand. Car.
Yeah. Let's. I'm gonna do a quick Google search real quick. I'm pretty sure they go anywhere from starting from 22,000 to 400,000. $400,000.
400,000?
Yes, there's an extremely rare. It says a Hermes Himalayan crocodile bag. It goes for $398,000. That's the highest one I've seen so far.
My God.
Yes.
My God, get out of here.
Yes, that's the most expensive one.
People really, really not have enough, like just have oodles of money, like to spend it on a 400. That is a house. Like
I think when you're spending money like that, that's like, Middle Eastern, I'm an oil guy, I own like half of Dubai kind of money. Cause like
right.
That's like Jeff Bezos money. If you're just dropping that on a bag to give to somebody, it's like Jesus. Like I wouldn't even, if I was a woman, I would never accept that as a gift. It's like I have to give you some. You spending $300,000 on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I have to give it up.
Listen, yeah, but still. But like I in my head, like I'm envisioning the types of guys, and it's like, and that's so mean. Like I don't know. Like
listen,
I can't get
no such thing as mean on this show. We honestly,
I just can't give it up to someone that I'm not like. I don't care how much money you have, right? Like I don't give a shit. It's like money is not that important to me. Like if I have to put a paper bag over your head to like, no, bro, like no.
Well, fortunately enough, Samantha Jones doesn't have to get a man to buy her bag. She can afford this bag, but apparently there's a 5-year wait for this bag. Let me ask you this: have you ever waited 5 years for an item?
No. No,
I didn't even finish the question.
No, I ever. Give you a little rundown about me. I am not a bougie ass bitch. Okay, like like at all. Like that shit does not impress me. I am not that girl. Like no, and even if there was something that I just was like, I'm in love with this item, I want it. If someone's like, you're gonna have to wait 5 years. I'm gonna go get a knockoff.
And that's what's funny about that is that Samantha Jones isn't above getting a knockoff. Like she has had other episodes where she's got knockoff shit and was very proud of it. I mean, when they went to LA the first time, or the one and only time that she was getting a bunch of knockoffs. That's so funny. But yeah, she's obsessed with this bag to the point where she uses her new client's name to jump ahead on the waiting list.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I forget. Oh, Lucy Liu. Like there was a time when like Lucy Liu was the it girl, right? Like,
Oh
and then I was just like, whatever happened to Lucy Liu? Like, what is she doing now? But like I feel like Lucy Liu paved the way for so many other people. And I'm like, but where is she now? What is she doing?
She did Charlie's Angels too, and that kind of fucked her. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, let's be honest. Her, Drew Barrymore, or Cameron Diaz never really recovered from that second movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the first one didn't go over well, and the second one didn't do any better.
And you know what's crazy? I feel like now there's so many more opportunities that she could be acting if she wanted. So I'm like, where did you go?
I'm sure, you know what, I'm sure she's around. I'm sure there's something that we just like maybe aren't, it's not on our radar that she's probably been in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
That's what I'm assuming. That's what I hope, because I thought she was a great actress, but it's been a while since I've seen her.
Yeah.
Do
I, not that you asked me, but I'm going to answer the question. Do I think that Samantha did anything wrong? No, not really.
I was like, that's so funny, because that was literally the next question I was about to ask.
I don't know. I just felt it. I like felt it in my soul. I was like,
I was like right in my notes. I was like, oh, ask this. It's literally the next question.
But as I'm watching it, I was like, do I feel like Samantha did anything wrong? No, I don't feel like she did anything wrong. I feel like, listen, she wanted the bag. She dropped her client's name. And in fact, I think Lucy Liu was like a little bit shitty when she was like, oh yeah, it's a bag that I don't want. But you know what? Maybe this is why the storyline is in there. Okay. Let's connect, right?
Go for it.
Because it like just occurred to me, because you're right. Like, it is seemingly a random storyline, but like if we break it down, right? It's something Samantha really wants, right? She like really wants this bag. And to Lucy Liu, it's just like, yeah, someone gave it to me. I don't really want it, but like, it's kind of cute and I'll use it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not.
You didn't even know what it was. She was like, "Oh, they just got this bag, and it's a Birkin." And like Samantha was like, "A Birkin." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's what it is."
Right. And in no means am I equating a baby to a Birkin bag. So I just like want to be clear.
Looking at these prices, $400,000. I mean, I feel like that's at least a half a baby's life with your baby.
You know what I mean? Listen, some in vitro, probably.
You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
But I think maybe the parallel there is like, right, like it's something that really means something to Samantha. Like she really wants, and Lucy Liu, she's just like, okay, whatever. Like she's not really getting the gravity of like what it means to Samantha, right?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's not why it's in there, and I'm just making this shit up.
Honestly, no. Don't walk that back, because that's actually, I didn't really even realize that. I didn't think about that. Like literally, kind of that situation was her and Charlotte were kind of in a similar situation. It's like watching somebody else get what you want, and like, and because I'm thinking about it too. Like Samantha was working her ass off to get it. She was calling the merchant and was like, "Where the hell is this bag?" You know, of course she was lying, saying it was for Lucy Liu, but like she was still working her ass off to get it, and then she ended up not getting it anyway.
Yeah. So. And like, again, I think Lucy Liu like could have been a little bit more gracious when she was like, oh yeah, they sent it over. She knew it wasn't for her. And then Samantha was like, oh, actually it's for me. Just give her the bag. You don't even want the bag. Like, I don't understand. Like, why did you have to be such a bitch about it?
It was because Samantha lied, though. That if she didn't lie about it, I think she would have probably been like, all right, fine. You worked your ass off. Here you go.
But so so question then, do you think that Samantha should have just been upfront and honest and been like, hey, Lucy, I'm going to use your name. Is it okay if I use your name? I mean, it's out of character for Samantha. So like that would have never happened, but like, would it have been more acceptable if she like called Lucy and was like, hey, do you mind if I use your name? I really want to get this bag. Do you think this situation would have been different? Or do you think?
So I have I've on one hand, I kind of agree. Like, yes, maybe she should have called and asked to see if she would have, you know what I'm saying? However, her being a new client, I don't know if that's like, kind of pushing some boundaries. And I'm also of the belief it's like better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I think once the bag came in, if she'd have been like, look, that's my bag, I paid for it, I used your name to try to jump up ahead on the list, would you mind giving that to me. You know what I mean? Or like, did you, you know what I mean? Because like, Ellie, would you forgive me for having the bag? Because like, you know, I feel like, and maybe this is like a guy's way of thinking, but like woman to woman, I feel like she probably would have understood if she'd just been honest with it.
I mean,
just a thought.
Yeah. No, listen, I like your thought process. I think you're a rational person. I think you take two girls, right? Two characters, right? Women who are just each going for what they each want and they're not willing to listen to each other's point of view. No, I don't think that conversation's gonna fly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, I just feel like, especially too, because like I honestly feel like, you know, in those moments as well, like this is kind of an out of character moment for Samantha because she's usually so like upfront and like, this is what I'm doing. Sorry. Like, you know what I mean?
But also it's also business, right? She does want Lucy as a client. What is happening?
Uh-oh. We lost you.
Send that shit to voicemail. I don't know. Someone's trying to get in touch with me. I'm like, send that shit to voicemail. But yeah, like I think Lucy is a new client, so she's trying to like, you know, kind of keep her on her good side, I guess.
Yeah.
But whatever, that all literally goes to hell in a handbag. No pun intended.
It didn't. Oh, to be fair, Lucy Liu did have a few good movies after Charlie's Angels. She did do Kill Bill.
Okay. That was after Charlie's Angels?
That was after. Oh, apparently she's going to be in the new Shazam movie as Calypso. So, you know, she's coming back. We're about to see her again.
Yeah, Lucy, it's your time. It is your time again.
Yeah, she's coming back. Cool. She was in that show, this Elementary. It was supposed to be.
Oh, like, that's right. It was that Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's doing that from 2012 to 2019. So she had a good run.
That show ran for that long?
Hell yeah. 154 episodes. Hell yeah.
See, I don't watch
syndication money, baby. So she good. Take it back. We're sorry, Queen.
No, I'm sorry. Right. It's my bad. I don't watch CBS.
Nah, me either. I've been on a bunch of CBS episodes or shows, but which is funny.
Look at you.
All right. So now we got to get into the big story, which I think we can talk about Carrie and Miranda in the same vibe because I feel like their stories are literally linked. So we start the episode with Carrie and Miranda meeting up before they go to the all-girls lunch that they always have for every episode, and she drops the bomb. Miranda drops the bomb on Carrie, saying that she's 3 weeks late on her period and that she did the test and she is for sure knows that she is pregnant. With Steve's baby. Ugh, fucking Steve. Listen, I know you want to like him, but you know he's not good, okay? He's a man child. He is a big man child. Nice guy.
I know, but like I have a hard time not liking him because I feel like Miranda's so difficult. Like she's such a bitch that like I have such a hard time not liking Steve because like he puts up with her, but not only does he put up with her, he like loves her.
Okay, but to be fair, she also puts up with him. Like think about it. Think about a person like you, okay? Like you said you're A-type, you're writing notes, you're like very organized. Yeah. So is she. She's a fucking high-powered attorney, and she's got to come home to basically a puppy. Whenever her and Steve were dating, he was basically a puppy. Like she would come up, basically all the stuff that he would do is like coming home to a puppy that got into the garbage. Now you gotta like clean up after this guy. Like literally when he got cancer, she's the one that made appointments for him to go get surgery.
I know.
He would have died of cancer if it wasn't for her.
All right, you have a point. You do have a point. I'm gonna concede this. I'm gonna concede this because you do have a point.
So which also kind of sucks for her because like this is not the guy she would have a baby with, and she also only had sex with him out of pity because like you know he was all down about his one ball now that he's had surgery.
I mean, but have you ever had like pity sex? Like I was trying to think back. I'm like, I don't know. Have I ever had pity sex with someone? I don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't know. Most guys don't have pity sex. I just want you to like women have had pity on us to have sex, but most guys don't have pity sex. Usually guys, what would be equivalent of like what for you like girls having pity sex for a guy, us would be like she's just there. That's
Yeah,
our
no, I
pity
get it. I'm
says. Like,
just
I'm
trying
not
to
really
think
into her, but like, I'm horny. She wants it.
well, okay,
Why not?
here's the thing. I guess that's kind of my point, right? Like,
Yes.
because when she's like, oh, it was a mercy fuck, it was like a mercy fuck. But like at the same time, like there's something going on. Like there's something going on. You're vibing in some way. Maybe you like feel bad for him and like you want to console him in that moment. But I don't necessarily know if it's gonna be like, okay, I feel bad for you, just like stick it in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so in the episode that they had sex, this is, I think it was like 2 episodes ago. Yeah, like, you know, because he had just had the surgery. He was like feeling like all incomplete.
Right.
He was, but you know what? To me, and me and my podcast partner, Elizabeth one, have a difference of opinion. I feel like Steve is very much a manipulative guy because I feel like that's what he does to her. Every time when they were in a relationship, every time he wanted something, he would like sulk and get all pissed off and mope around, and then she would just like kind of give into him. And I think that's what he was doing with the one ball thing, because like the whole episode he was like, oh, I'm not really a man, I'm like, I feel you know, without, and I feel like I'm not complete, and yada yada, like just like this big sob story about having one ball. And then she was like, he's like, who would want, you know, because that was a big thing. He's like,
who would want yeah,
who would want a bartender with one ball? And she was just like, shut up, I'll give it.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, I feel like, and again, I haven't seen that episode in a while, but like, I feel like I almost remember it like where she was like, yes, that, but like also she was like kind of like into it, but maybe because I haven't seen it in a while, that's just like.
Well, there are glimpses of moments where like her and Steve are hanging out and she can see kind of what she did
Yeah,
in him
yeah,
to make her date him initially. But like, I think for me personally, I think he always finds a way to screw it up by just kind of being a child.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So here we are. She has this mercy fuck.
She has a mercy fuck. She's pregnant. They go to brunch. They're talking about it. You know, Miranda doesn't really want to tell anybody, especially Charlotte, because she knows Charlotte's trying to have a baby, which she is complaining about that at the brunch, and it comes out. So we already talked about what they went through. So my question is for you, because this is well, one to do. So ultimately, Miranda decides she's not going to keep it. Well, at least initially, she decides she's not going to keep it. And I personally, besides Samantha, I feel like she definitely got a lot of judgment, even though Carrie was saying she wasn't judging. Excuse me. I feel like she was throwing a little shade throughout the episode. Yeah,
a little shade. Yeah. I tend to agree, but I also wonder if the shade was also because she felt like she was on. She should tell Steve.
Yes.
You know.
Now let me ask you. Do you think that?
Okay, that was in my notes.
Yes.
Are you gonna say, would you tell?
Yes, I'm asking. Yeah. Would you?
Yeah, that was the first thing I wrote in my notes. Would I say something? And what I came up with, the answer to that question, a one night stand. No, I'm not gonna say shit. Right. Why would I say anything? And you know, it's interesting because Aiden has a moment with Carrie where he's like, well, I feel like the guy deserves to know. And I want to be like, well, that speaks to who Aiden is as a person, right? Like he's a good person. He personally would want to know because he would probably step up because he's a good guy, right?
Right.
I know lots of guys that like just total fuck up that I would never. I mean, I like my fair share. I lived in New York for a while, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
In my 20s. So like, let's just leave it there. Like, use your imagination. But
hey, listen,
I would venture to say none of them were upstanding gentlemen. And would I want to tell any of them? No.
Okay.
No, absolutely. Especially if I'm not intending on keeping the baby. It's not your business. It's not your choice. You don't get to know.
I respect that.
Like why? Yeah, why?
Yeah,
I have some random stranger weigh in on something, and like, and listen, not all guys are like this, but in my experience, most guys that I've hooked up with or whatever are not fatherly types, right? So even if they're going to say one thing, like when it comes down to actions, right? Probably not going to follow through on, and I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah,
Especially
I
if I don't
understand
know
that.
you. I don't know you nothing. You don't know me anything. Now, if it was a situation where I knew the guy, right?
Yeah.
I would probably I would be more inclined and this is like if I wasn't going to keep it, I would be
Mm.
more inclined to tell them just out of respect, but I'm still going to do what I want to do. Now, if I were to keep it and I knew the guy, I've thought this through a lot.
Sure. No, this is the great. No,
Mainly because,
I
okay, like this is also coming at a weird, I actually, I'm like, how do I say this without, um, I had a conversation with somebody probably like a month ago,
mm,
and this sort of thing came out
mhm.
where they had said, if I had a kid, even if it was from like a one night stand or whatever, and the person came to me and wanted to keep the kid, this dude said like I would step up real fast and I would do what needed to be done.
Mhm.
And I was like, I mean, that's cool, but like, what if the other,
Right. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And then we had this interesting moment where I was like, and he, because this, you know, because this person said like, yeah, it would be cool. I'd be cool. I'd be cool with the baby mama. It'd be cool. And I was like, that's what you're thinking, but you don't know what this other person's thinking.
Right. And you also don't. It's like because like that's because I was thinking about the same thing too when I was watching the episode. At first, I was kind of on the inside. I was like, yeah, she should tell Steve, but also too like her life is changing too. Like because they had and actually they actually kind of brought up the what I was thinking in my head when her and Carrie go to the pizza shop to talk about it, like what she was ultimately gonna do, and she decided to not keep it. And
Yeah.
again, Carrie was throwing her a little bit of judgment and being like,
Yeah.
"You should tell," stuff like that. But like,
Yeah.
again, there's two sides to that coin because, like, yes, uh, does Steve have a right to know? Yes, but like also I feel like he would be, because of the way Steve is, like, cause she was saying, even saying that her fear was like, if I told him, he would want to keep it. And like that guy, he's not, I mean, even if he wanted to step up and be there, he's not in a place to be a father and like he would be picking up all the slack, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, exactly. And I think it's so, hey, sorry. It's so different for a woman because even if the guy wants to step up and do all the things, I will say the burden of a baby really falls on the woman because there's just certain things that guys cannot do that, and especially if you're in like a weird place with like the guy.
Yeah, because they're not together. She doesn't really have any feelings for him. Like
Right.
she doesn't want to be with him, and she really doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
want him in her life. Like she's cool with them being friends or whatever. Mostly because and really the only thing that's really kind of tying them together as even friends is the fact that Carrie's dating Aiden, and Aiden is also his business
and
partner.
business partner. Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, whether she, and I'm just speaking from my own experience, but like if that were to happen to me, and I knew the person for longer than like a night or a couple of weeks or whatever, I'm still going to make the choice that's best for myself.
Of course.
Would I tell them out of respect at the age that I'm at now?
Yes.
Probably. But when I was in my 20s, probably not.
Right.
Probably not. Like, I don't know.
It was.
I also too like I want to tie myself to somebody.
Right.
That's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you if you decide to ultimately keep it, like this is the person that you like. They're gonna unless they decide, hey, they don't want any rights and they sign their rights away, or like they, don't even want to be there at all. Like it's still life changing for you. Like ultimately, the woman is stuck in that decision no matter what happens. So like that is the kind of the caveat. It's like, and which I thought was kind of funny too, because Carrie's kind of giving Miranda judgment for like not telling him, but it's like, bitch, you didn't even tell your boyfriend the one abortion you had, or at least you lied initially. Like she was like, because he asked if he ever had it. She was like, no, I've never had one. No way. You know what I mean? Like,
right, because and which is interesting because she was like, well, I didn't want him to judge me or change his opinion of me.
Yeah.
But like you're than judging your friend, really, in a way, and like, yeah, it's like a weird thing that happens.
Well, cool points for Carrie though, because while she was judging her friend, she also went to the clinic with her to like support her, things of that nature. So like, she which is, in my opinion, Carrie's the worst, but like she has her moments where she's actually a decent human being.
A decent friend. Well, I thought it was interesting too, because when she does ultimately go with Miranda said, okay, but what would you do? And Carrie says, I can't answer that. And I'm thinking in my head, I wouldn't answer that question either, because you don't, whatever happens one way or the other, you don't want that shit coming back on you.
Hell
like, you told me to do this or you told me to do that. And like, no, I wouldn't want that shit either. I'd be like, this is not something I can tell you what to do.
I wouldn't want anybody asking me that, or I wouldn't answer that question either. I'd be like, no, this is your body, your choice, your life.
Right.
If this is not in your plan, do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard decision, but like, man.
I know. And I think too, like, being a woman, like, it is hard to be a woman and have people, first of all, you're already in a hard situation, right? And then having people judging you on both sides, telling you like what they think you should do.
Right.
Ultimately, you have to do what is in your own best interest. And if you're feeling like you're making the right choice at the time, you're making the right choice, right? Like, it's just but also now watching this episode, right, through the lens of what's going on in our country right now, it also puts like a new framework on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this, like, honestly, this episode should just be like broadcast on everybody's television, just so like they can kind of see, because there's a lot of people who especially pro-life people. It's like, dude, it's not just as simple as like, well, you decided to lay down and have sex, and now what comes.
Right.
There's more to it than that. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, it's just more to it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, and I think the real world, right? Like, women are having this struggle. Where they feel like they have to choose either their career or a child, because they're not getting supported for both, right? And that is a real world problem. And so Miranda in the real world in this show is dealing with that, right? Where she feels like, I have to make this choice because I've worked so hard for this career, right? And if I have a child, I can't get to where I want in a career. And it does kind of suck, because nobody should be put in that position to have to choose.
Yeah. But
there's no support.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like, the position that she's in, if she has a baby, that firm is definitely not gonna keep her on. Like, they'll probably keep her on while she's working through until like the last days that she can't work. But like that maternity leave and shit like that, she's gonna be so far behind by the time she gets back. So, because here's the thing too, ultimately, and also let's get into it. She ultimately decides she's not gonna have the abortion. She decides to keep the baby.
She's gonna keep it,
and
which
so, I applaud, I appreciate, like, if she's gonna keep it, but also I'm like, dude, man, like, your career is fucked. You're basically taking this on by yourself. Because like, even if you do tell Steve, how much help can he be?
Right.
He's a man child.
But I always thought it was so interesting, because I'm like, what was the thing that turned the tide for her? You know what I mean? Like, besides the writing, what was the thing that turned the tide,
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because I don't really feel like in this episode we get a hint of like her having a maternal thing.
I think because her and Carrie during the clinic visit, she brings up, she's like, this is not in the cards, this wasn't in the plan, but she's like, what if I'm 42 years old and I'm trying to have a baby and I can't, and this is like the one chance that I get. I think that is what's ultimately making her, because I've had, I have friends that are women who are talking about that now, and they're like, like, if they're in their 30s and they're like, well, I'm not trying to have a kid, but like, if I get pregnant, I don't know if I would keep it or not, because like I'm 32, 33 and so on above, and then like, this could be my one chance. And I think that's what's in her mind and what ultimately makes her decide to keep it.
I totally get that, because it is a scary thing, because you're like, I'm not ready for this, but at the same time, like, well, what if this is
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Like, you know, trust me, I get it because I'm in that age range now where it's like, dude.
Yeah, man.
I mean, let's be. Yeah, I mean, I've had a few. I'm a full grown adult that could take care of a child, and in this past year, because of some of the questionable decisions that I have made, I'll be honest, I've had that moment of like, how would I do? Like, really, what would I do?
Right. Yeah. No.
Conversations with myself where I'm like, do I tell this random, you know what I mean? Like, luckily, like I've been fine, obviously, but when you have to like really face those like hard conversations, like it's a little bit overwhelming and like scary. And you're like, shit, like this could be a real thing.
Well, shoot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, this is like a topic that I can't weigh in that much because as a guy, I definitely feel like, you know, yes, you know, a guy does have a right to know and like maybe help you make the decision, but like at the same token, I'm not here to it's like it doesn't affect me in life as much because like really at any given time I can leave and not have any part to do with it unless we go to court and shit like that, which is, you know, that's a totally different subject. So
yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Well, at least, I mean, I guess now that she's decided to keep it, do you think she should tell Steve?
Yeah. Because I think ultimately my view is she's decided to keep it independently of whatever Steve is going to do. But at the end of the day, I think, yes, now she should tell Steve because she's going to have his child. And I think the conversation, you know, that she's probably prepared to have is, I have made this choice independently without you. I'm going to do what I need to do to make this work without you. If you want to participate, great. But because I've made this choice, I don't need you to step up or do anything. And to be honest, that's what I would do. Like right now in this moment, if I were to get pregnant by someone that I had some type of relationship-ish with, right? And I decided to keep it, ultimately, I would, out of respect, say, hey, listen, I'm having your baby, but I'm going to do me. Like, I made this choice and I don't expect you to step up or do anything.
Yeah.
But also too, I think I might feel that way because I actually have friends that never met their fathers. So, and I've seen, you know, how they grew up or whatever. So I would want to give my child the opportunity. If the guy says no, fine, whatever, but I don't want to withhold.
Right. And that's actually, I think that's the best choice is like to be like, look, here's what I'm doing. I decided I want to keep this. You can be there or not, but I'm not gonna like keep you away. Like, just don't be shitty. You know what I mean? And I think that's like the best decision. Like that's how it rolls.
And I think too, like ultimately, like people need to keep in mind, like a life is coming in, and like it no longer becomes about you or the other person. It becomes about like, how do we raise this child to be the most loved, to be the most productive member of society, to be the most happy, to do what's right by them. And honestly, a lot of my perspective has changed because I started a couple of years ago. I nannied for these two babies, and it's something in me just changed. Like I never even thought I wanted kids. And then when I started nannying for these babies, a lot of stuff in me changed. And I realized very quickly that it's about what's in the best interest of the babies and the children, not about me or, you know, anyone else. So
I love that. So, well, this has been a great episode. I'm glad that you came on. I'm glad that you're a fan of Sex in the City and that we got to have this talk. This is like, I'm definitely glad that, you know, I definitely got to have this perspective of from a woman and everything.
This is deep, right? For the first episode, this is deep, man.
I know we brought you in for like a really deep episode, but Hey, listen, I don't know if my podcast partner will be back next week, but if she's not, I would love to have you back on for the next episode. Or even if she is, maybe we should have you on we'll do like a three-way type of thing.
Listen,
You know what I mean? Love that. I would love to
yeah.
have two women's perspectives in this episode, in the next
Well,
episode. So that would be
yeah,
great.
yeah. Yeah,
So
awesome. I would love that. It's been
cool.
fun. Like, it's just fun. Thank you for having me.
Of
It's been
course.
really exciting. Yeah.
Before we go, do you
Yeah.
want to drop your IG or any information that for people to come and follow you and whatnot?
Yeah. What is my IG? I think my name, just Elizabeth_Izzo. I think you should be able to find me.
Okay.
I think it's Elizabeth_Izzo. And then my little picture will pop up and it should say Lucy Liu.
Okay. Cool.
That's so I guess you could search either Lucy Liu or Elizabeth_Izzo.
Cool. Also for our fans, you know that we sell candles and reed diffusers and all that stuff. Well, we don't, but our good friends Arlo Australia, ARLO Australia, ARLO_Australia on Instagram. They have these great smelling candles. Anzac biscuits, my favorites. So be sure you pick you up a couple of those. They have reed diffusers if you're not so sure around yourself around flames and things like that. And I believe they have bath bombs as well now. So make sure you go get you some CBD bath bombs from Arlo Australia.
Yo, that sounds amazing.
It's heavenly. I mean, it's literally heavenly. Also, people, we got a lot of views, but like nobody's liking and subscribing. So go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe. That way, we can build numbers, we can make more episodes, and maybe even build up our production a little bit. You know what I mean? Won't be so plain Jane, just two people talking heads. You know what I mean? Although I think you guys just like that, so we'll see. Other than that, or if you want to look for me, I'm at Christopher T. Mack on all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those good things. So you can find me, and make sure you look up Miss Izzo over here because she's an awesome person, and you're gonna be seeing more of her face, I'm pretty sure, soon. So
hopefully,
yeah, that's it, everybody.
awesome.
Thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.